Welcome to Storytime. AJ finally made it out of the ice path, nabbing himself a gold bed on the way. He renamed Espion Burrito because it was like a warm blanket wrapping them all up in happiness and leading them out of the icy cave. AJ had thought he would never be warm again, but after being in the frigid cold for hours and hours, the sun felt incredible. He was now in Blackthorn City, known for its ledges and dragon-type Pokemon. He made his way to the gym, a stone dungeon dotted with pools of lava, which seems pretty safe given the lack of guardrails. The dragon Pokemon trainers were the strongest AJ had yet faced, but he defeated them all and came to the gym leader, Claire. Her Dragonair quickly took out Shuckle, Smoochum, and Burrito. AJ could tell she was the strongest of the gym leaders, and that this fight would test all his skills. Brian switched in, defeating 2 Dragonair. Lasergator finished off the third, but during the fight he was paralyzed by a Thunder Wave and fainted against Kingdra. Brian, though tired, came back and just barely managed to win AJ the match. AJ was ecstatic, but Claire's expression was one of distrust. She told AJ he would not be getting his final badge. He was strong, but he wasn't ready for the Pokemon League. He wasn't worthy of being a champion. AJ was beside himself. He had won. Could she really deny him the badge? He begged Claire to reconsider, and though she looked through him coldly, at length she decided a second task could decide AJ's worth. She told him he needed to go to the Dragon's Den. At the shrine there he would receive a test, and though she doubted he could pass it, it would be his last chance. The Dragon's Den was in a lake at the bottom of a cave. Home to the Dragon Tamer clan, it was here that both Claire and Lance had received their training, and AJ faced difficult battles against the Dragon Tamers he met. In a large pagoda, he met the Dragon Clan elder. He listened to AJ's story about why he had come and smiled. Claire could be quite harsh, but it was because she was distrustful of some of the trainers she met that only cared about winning and power. In talking with AJ though, the elder could see that he cared deeply for his Pokemon, and that he truly battled alongside them, not simply handing out commands. He gave AJ a Dratini that he named Katie. The elder said AJ was worthy of the power of the Dragon Tamer clan, and it was then that Claire stepped out of the shadows. She was amazed that AJ had won the elder's approval. She had thought that he was lazy and careless, but the elder was never wrong about someone. She agreed to give AJ the Rising Badge, that would let him use the waterfall skill necessary to reach the Indigo Plateau. AJ journeyed back to New Bark Town. Professor Elm was happy to hear of his progress and gave him the Master Ball, the rarest kind of Pokeball that could catch any Pokemon without fail. He set out for Tojo Falls, connecting Kanto and Johto. Along the way he saw a Goldeen and decided to catch it. Unfortunately, he accidentally grabbed the wrong Pokeball and didn't notice until it was already in the air that he was using the Master Ball. So, oops. AJ continued on, meeting his old friend Joey. He wanted a rematch to prove that his Rattata had reached an even higher tier of topness, but Burrito defeated it and Joey vowed to get stronger. AJ finally made it to Victory Road. It was a long and arduous path, with wild Pokemon and trainers stronger than anything AJ had come up against so far. His team struggled to keep up, though they fought their hardest. At length, AJ decided they needed some more training, heading back to Acrotique City. The Tin Tower had 3 Guardian Sages, and once AJ defeated them they allowed him to enter. The tower was massive, and when AJ reached the top he was able to ring the Holy Bell. And when he did, the 3 legendary beasts appeared again, drawn by the sound. Entei and Raikou fled once more, but Suicune decided it was finally time to give AJ a chance to fight and capture him. The battle was long and difficult, and in the end, Laser was on his last legs. Summoning a final burst of power, he unfortunately used a little too much, and defeated Suicune so he couldn't be captured. With the team stronger, AJ returned to Victory Road. He caught 2 Tentacool, a Noctowl, a Raticate, and a Graveler. Feeling confident, AJ was finally about to make it out of Victory Road when of course Silver appeared before him. He said that there was no way AJ could face the Pokemon League, and challenged him again. His Pokemon exhausted from the long trek however, AJ lost. Silver swore he would never let AJ into the Pokemon League until he could prove he was truly the better trainer. AJ knew Silver wouldn't be satisfied unless he beat him once and for all, so he spent some more time on Victory Road training. Katie evolved into Dragonair, and AJ caught a Raticate, a Ponyta, a Doduo, and an Onix. Finally, he decided it was time to settle things with Silver. Meeting him once more, he told Silver that this would be their last fight. AJ was going to prove to him that he was a careless trainer who would never be strong if he kept going the way he was. With AJ's team ready, it was a much closer fight. It seemed that both boys had a counter for every other move. Their Pokemon were battling with everything they had. Feeding off the hatred of their trainers, they gave their all to settle the rivalry. Finally, it came down to Lasergator and Meganium. The two clashed, seeming evenly matched, but finally Meganium fell. Silver fell to his knees. No matter how often he tried, AJ always found a way to beat him. He had built his team to be perfect, trained them day in and day out, and still AJ won. Was it true? Was he really weaker because he didn't love his Pokemon? Looking at his team, he realized that even though he had lost, he was proud of how they'd battled. He'd been so serious about Pokemon training that he didn't even know he was having fun. Silver revealed that he had met with the Dragon Tamer Elder too, and that he had judged Silver's soul to be unhappy and hollow. Silver was beginning to see what he meant, and thanks to AJ, he had worked through his anger. He said that he wasn't quite ready to reveal to AJ why he was so intent on getting powerful Pokemon and beating Team Rocket, but he agreed to return the Pokemon he'd stolen and turn over a new leaf. He wished AJ luck and let him pass. AJ was finally at the Indigo Plateau, and it was time to challenge the Pokemon League. He decided his final team would be Lasergator, Brian, Burrito, Katie, Raticate, and Onyx, who he evolved into a Steelix using a rare candy. AJ knew that his run would be heavily watched, and that the soul of his country was riding on his victory or his defeat. AJ took a deep breath. He had come too far to stop now. Stepping through the first set of doors, he came to the chamber of the first of the Elite Four. Will was a Psychic-type trainer who had been all over the world. His team proved versatile, but AJ wasn't about to let his training go to waste. Steelix steamrolled Xatu and Exeggutor, and Bruno used her bite to take out Jinx and Silbro. Will was in high spirits even after the loss though, and he urged AJ on. The next room was like a forest, and in the middle was Koga. The former Fuchsia gym leader, he had grown even stronger and won a place on the Elite Four. His Pokemon were quick and sneaky, his ninja training making them deadly. Raticate defeated Ariados but fell to Fortress. Katie took over, defeating his powerful Venomoth. Laser switched in to fight Muck, but his constant Sludge Bombs did him in, and Katie finished off the match. Moving on, he met Bruno, a fighting trainer who had only grown more fierce since Red had fought him 3 years ago. Burrito had learned the move Psychic during its prior battle, laying waste to his Onix, Machamp, and Hitmontop. His Hitmonchan proved too quick though, and Burrito had exhausted his psychic power and was defeated. Brian switched in, flying circles around the fighting type and winning the battle. Karen was the last of the Elite Four. She was a wild trainer, whose dark types were known for being relentless. Katie was defeated by Umbreon and Laser took over, defeating Vileplume. Gengar was next and beat Laser, AJ sending out Steelix in response. Steelix won, but Gengar's Destiny Bond ensured that it fainted as well. Brian finished off Murkrow and Houndoom, leaving only one trainer left before AJ could be crowned champion. AJ entered the final chamber of the Indigo Plateau. He had to face the current champion. Lance was waiting for him, smiling. He'd had no doubt that AJ would make it this far, but Lance was not about to let his title be taken so easily. The battle began. Brian was able to deftly evade Gyarados' attacks and take him out. Raticate went toe-to-toe with Charizard, but Lance's assault only grew stronger from there. He had 3 Dragonites, Burrito, Steelix, and Katie taking on the challenge. Lance's final Pokemon was an Aerodactyl, an ancient fossil Pokemon like Lord Omastar. AJ knew he was in for a fight, and so he released Lasergator. The Admiral's sword in hand, Laser engaged Aerodactyl. The fossil Pokemon was incredibly strong, and Laser was exhausted from the long day of fighting. Aerodactyl's Hyper Beam battered Laser until he was hanging on only by sheer will. AJ kept his eyes on his partner, fists clenched as he cursed himself for not being able to help his friend. Laser met his gaze and smiled. Aerodactyl readied another Hyper Beam, but Laser mustered up the last of his strength for one final strike. Lance and AJ both watched, not breathing, as they observed the final clash. Aerodactyl fell, and Laser stood. AJ had won. AJ was the new champion. Tears streamed down his face as Lance congratulated him. AJ had finally achieved his goal. His mission, however, was not over. Though he was overjoyed to be champion, this was only the beginning. It was time to go and find Red. Thanks for watching Storytime. If you'd like to see more, you can subscribe, or you can follow me on Twitter or Tumblr to get updates when new videos come out. See you soon!